Do you want to know when you're going to be able to buy more graphics cards? Well, some companies think they have the answer. The best way to play PlayStation games is on your gosh dang PC. And in case you want more Nvidia GPUs, we got launches on launches on launches. But don't worry, I think they might all be paper. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. And we're going to be talking about the shortages that are currently going on and when some companies think they might be ending. In case you think that you can't buy a GPU, don't worry. You're actually in like the minority? Not quite, but like according to all of the consumer reports that have come out, like every GPU company is selling more and more than they ever have before. So it's clear there's no actual shortage. The only thing that's short is you. Got him. Short joke. I'm 6'2", not particularly tall, but just still more than most people. Anyways, Nvidia, however, thinks that this might actually get resolved in the second half of next year. The CEO of Nvidia saying at a conference that the company as a whole will take the appropriate work to continue to procure more supply. We've been able to grow quite well during this year because we're selling all of our cards to miners. Excuse me, that was Brett commentary in there. Each quarter sequentially growing, and we do continue to plan to do that for Q4. So we believe we will be in a better position in terms of supply when we look at the second half of next year, and also saying that the company has entered longer term agreements with the supply chain and saying that longer term can be more than a year, so that it takes more than a year for them to ramp up production. So if they realized that the launch of the RTX 3080 was just over a year ago, they were like, oh crap, we don't have enough supply. And then they contacted Samsung to be like, hey, ramp up your supply. Samsung was like, hey, we've already sold all of our supply. And they're like, okay, great, we'll pay you X amount for more supply. And Samsung's like, great, I can only make that in like 2022. And Nvidia's just like, okay, we're just gonna charge everybody way too much until then. That's what we're gonna do. More money, more money. See, most other people think more money, more problems. Not Nvidia, more money, more money. Excuse me. I might be a little passionate about this subject. Can you wait until the second half of 2022? Let me know down in the comments. But Samsung thinks you might have to wait a little longer. Samsung Mobile commenting on the chip shortages that they're experiencing when it comes to SoC production and radio frequency components, and stating that they don't think it's going to be resolved until the end of 2022. Like, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody wants the same parts. They're all sold out and we can't get them. And so it's just this giant clusterfuffle of everybody wanting the same thing and just no way to produce it. And so it's gonna be a long time. 2023, my friends, you're gonna be ancient by the time you think you're gonna be able to get new components from everybody. Which one do you tend to believe? Do you think Nvidia's right with the second half of next year, or do you think Samsung's right that it's probably gonna be in 2023, or do you think it's not necessarily the same thing because they produce different things? Even though Nvidia produces their GPUs at Samsung's foundries, Samsung's mobile foundries is a little bit of a different setup, so it's not quite apples to oranges or potatoes to bananas. Let me know what you think of all of that down in the comments. I'm going to let you know that the best way you can play PlayStation exclusive games is to get them to stop being exclusives, wait like 5 years, and then play them on PC, because that's what's happening with Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War. Horizon Zero Dawn obviously been out on PC for well over a year at this point, but now it has a whole bunch of updates that make it even more playable. Number one, it has Nvidia's DLSS support, as well as AMD's FSR support, as well as a whole bunch of quality of life updates where it doesn't have to compile the shaders as you load the game. It can actually pre-compile them now. It's supposedly a much better experience, and this is exactly what you want to see from Sony's game development teams in order to put their games on PC. Continual improvement to make them a better experience. Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't particularly well optimized when it came out. It did take them a long time to finally come out with this update, but I'm glad that it's here at this point. But we also know that God of War is coming to PC on January 14th, and it's been reported that it has those same features, Nvidia's DLSS, and it's going to have all of the, goodness that comes with all of the PC stuff. And they launched a new gameplay trailer which looks absolutely stunning. Higher resolution shadows, better subsurface scattering, everything looking pretty immaculate, getting up to all of the support that you want on PC, with them also releasing specifications in case you want to have the original experience. You just need a 1066 gig, which is hardly anything, and a quad-core 6600K or a Ryzen 5 2400G, which they put a space between the 2400 and the G, and that bothers me just so slightly. In case you want to play 4K 60 FPS, you're going to look at an RTX 3080 or higher, and then an 8-core CPU either in the 9900K or the 16-core 3950X. Wild. Anyways, the one specification you need to watch out for is that the RAM has to be original DDR, not DDR4, not DDR5. Recommended RAM is either 8 or 16 gigabytes of DDR. So just know that as you're beginning to launch into the God of War campaign. Are you excited for God of War? Are you more open to replaying Horizon Zero Dawn on PC now that that's out? With this latest update to Horizon Zero Dawn, I think it makes it the perfect time to replay it before Horizon Forbidden West comes out in February on the PS5. Obviously not as good as playing it on the PC, but I could just play it on the PS5 and then wait 5 years and play it on the PC. Let me know what specifications you're going to be playing this, which I did a poll recently over on our community tab about a week ago asking what generation of GPU are you all on. We got 21,000 votes, and over a third of you are on the latest generation of graphics cards, either an RTX 30 series or an RX 6000 series, which is mind-boggling. A lot of the comments were just like, how did everybody get so lucky? Which it has been over a year. There are some lower end versions. It hasn't been necessarily impossible to get some, but that's a lot higher percentage than I thought people were on. Anyways, just a neat little fact. You want also a neat little fact. NZXT has a ton of cash now. They raised $100 million in strategic investment to expand its expansion, to further fuel its expansion as they go into either what they're currently doing now and making that better, or as it says, new hardware categories that they might be entering into. NZXT, what products do you want to see from them? What product space of the PC world do you want to see them enter into? Give some feedback down in the comments. But you know what's not going to cost you $100 million? UFD Deals, that's right. Okay, we're gonna go over the hottest tech deals that I can find on the internet right now. Let's talk about Intel's i5-10400F. I know this is 2 generations old, but it's at a gosh dang good price right now. $160 either on Amazon, which is its lowest price in over 30 days, or $160 over on Newegg with the promo code that's included. That's a gosh dang good deal for what's a good 6-core, 12-thread chip. That's a solid steal. But in case you want a solid steal on some 80+ titanium, which is not steel, it's different metal. Anyways, Seasonic's Prime TX 750 going for $105 after a steep $85 discount plus a $20 rebate card that you can get. That's a great deal for 80+ titanium, super high efficiency. Check that out at the link in the video description. Also, Western Digital has their blue PCI Express 3.0 drives going up to 2400 megabytes per second read and write. It's going for $78.99 right now after you click this $5 coupon, which is again one of the lowest prices that's been seen in 30 days, but it's not a lower price as Cryptostonks Bitcoin up slightly today, 0.5% to sit at 50,715. That's actually kind of essentially where it was yesterday when I talked about this. It had a little dip in the middle of the day, you know, beginning or 7 a.m., you know, Eastern time, just decided, hey, I gotta snooze for a second. Ethereum also up 3.25% to sit at $4,400, which just look at that market cap. Ethereum kind of growing compared to Bitcoin. It's over half of Bitcoin's market cap at this point, which is something that you haven't seen in quite some time. Dogecoin also up 1.26% to be at 18 cents. Meme stonks, it's slightly differing. GameStop down 2.35% today to be at 173.63. AMC up 4.19%. This keeps happening. It keeps getting like so close to 420 and then just not committing at all. 32.34 is where AMC landed for the day. But you want to land in the back seat of an EV because it goes, yeah, EVs are really fun when you have the ones that have a whole lot of torque. Well, Polestar wants to sell you a little bit more torque for €1,000, taking over the example that Tesla set when it came to their Model 3 and Model Y when they started selling acceleration boost. For €1,000, you can add an extra 67 horsepower and 15 foot-pounds of torque, which can shave it 0 to 60 down to 4.4 seconds. Again, this is something that Tesla kind of pioneered over a year ago when they did payable DLC to your gosh dang car, which I know a lot of people are just inherently against this, like paying extra money when it comes to just like, why wouldn't you unlock this when I bought it? Why do I have to pay to tune it to be a little bit faster? To like, on one side, I can understand that argument of like, you should have just given me everything that this car comes with. On the other side, there's a couple arguments that I do want to make in favor of this. Number one, normal regular car engines have this set up to begin with. You can unlock extra horsepower by paying money. Not always to to the manufacturer or the dealer who sold you the vehicle, but by paying extra money, you can increase the actual performance of the vehicle. Number two, one of the things that I think needs to be considered is the fact that by increasing the amount of power that goes through the motors, they're also going to increase the failure rate of those motors. And that money might not be there just to take some profit, but also to get some money for the repairs that are inevitably going to happen as you give more power to more motors that are out there. And in case you don't want it, well, then the regular warranty, manufacturer's warranty, still stands for you. This could be a way to offset it. Obviously, there's a whole host of conversation that can happen around it. What do you think of payable car DLC? Down below in the comments. And I know what you probably think of this next article, which is Verizon's collecting data on their customers. Shocker. But the worst part about this is not that they're collecting the data, it's that they're collecting the data after users opted out of having their data collected. And the way that Verizon is getting around this is, number one, by not caring about their consumers. That's the primary effect. That's the root cause, is greed and just a megalomaniac desire to control everything that's going on in your business, and not realizing that consumers actually have a right to determine what happens with their data. But then, you know, the more surface level is the fact that they changed the program name that they were actually involved in. So the program used to be called Selects, which had all of that stuff where it was collecting your location, your web browsing, all of that. Users opted out of that previously. But then they changed it to the Verizon Customer Experience Plus and Customer Experience programs. And the fact that Verizon switched over means that all of your opt-out doesn't count anymore. So now you actually have to go back and opt out of the new program because, again, at the root of this is greed and a disrespect for their customers. So let's not lose sight of the fact that this is wrong by Verizon to do this. They could have made it so that it was automatically opt out and you had to opt into this program. Why would they want to do that? There's no easy money in that. Having to get consent, that's ridiculous. This is all sarcasm, by the way. Get consent from your customers, from people in your life, from things that you're doing. Consent is a good thing, my friends. Verizon, knock it off. And a lot of people want Nvidia to knock off the fact that they can't get their hands on the RTX 2060, which launched earlier in this week. We talked about in yesterday's episode of Hot News that it does seem like this is more allocated for miners, but in a report that came out from PC Gamer in a conversation with Nvidia, it turns out that there might be more production that's going to happen around the 2060 12 gig starting in December, which is this month, so we might get more cards in January. And why launch it? Why launch it until you've ramped up the production? Why? What's the point of all of this? Is it just that we're talking about it and it gets into people's mind share? Because honestly, it just doesn't look good. What if you're gonna sell it to miners? You don't need to announce it to the public. Just start releasing it behind the scenes and people will let it go. But if you're releasing a consumer facing card, why release something that they can't get? You're selling to people they don't like and then saying, hey, don't worry, it'll come available at some point. It's bad PR in my opinion. Obviously, I don't run a multi-billion-dollar company and I'm not in the intricacies of how to do PR properly. It just doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth that they're doing all of this. But we also talked about how there is no official press of the RTX 2060 that we could find. As far as I'm aware, it's not being officially reported. But I did find that my old pals over in South Africa, Wootware, actually have an RTX 2060 12 gig listed on their website for 10,000 Rand, which is a reasonable $636, which after knowing Wootware for many years and knowing the owner, I know that they're not charging this price by taking a huge margin. In fact, they're probably getting charged out to wazoo from the companies that they're buying this from in order to even sell it at that price. And to put it in comparison to other GPUs that you can buy in South Africa, the 6600 XT is the same price, which that's not equivalent. The 6600 XT is a slightly better card, faster at least. It doesn't have DLSS, it doesn't have the NVENC encoding, but it's a better gaming card. So I don't know, it's a weird situation. What's also a weird situation is complaining about all of these cards we can't get, and yet knowing that there are more cards than Nvidia is going to be launching. The 3070 Ti, 3090 Ti getting release dates that were, at least according to the latest rumors that are out there. The 3050 also rumored to be getting announced at Nvidia CES press conference on January 4th. The 3050 then launching on the 27th. The 3070 Ti being launched on January 11th, and then the 3090 Ti being launched on January 7th as well. But who cares? You're not going to be able to get them, and you're not going to be able to get any more hot news today. You come back tomorrow for more breakfast, you hear? No more tech news today. Goodbye. Good day, sir. You get nothing. You lose.